Hi guys, welcome to today's video. My name is Andrew Mclean and I'm a portrait, commercial and wedding photographer from Sheffield. And today I want to talk to you about the power of networking, and especially networking as a creative or as a photographer. And the reason for that is because today I've come to Manchester because myself and a good friend of mine and an amazing photographer called Liam Healy have arranged for a group of photographers, videographers, models, makeup artists, stylists to all meet up in Manchester city centre just to meet each other, get to know each other, create some content and just build relationships. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's go. Okay, so as you've just seen in that footage there, a huge amount of people turned up today. Most of the time there were between 30 and 40 creatives there, all meeting each other, making relationships, creating content, making plans for the future. Just a really successful day. A huge thanks to Liam for putting the vast majority of that together. So yeah, but thanks to everybody, thank you to everybody that came. And it really showed the power of networking and building those relationships, because only time will tell what will come from the relationships that will form today, and people meeting other people, making plans, creating content, and it can lead on to so much stuff. And along that line I thought what I would do is ask a couple of the people that were there what networking meant to them. So here's what Liam, Dom and Sophia think of networking.
So I think within this industry and within the creative industry and building anything like as an entrepreneur, I think skill's one thing and business is one thing, knowledge is one thing, but networking is probably the most powerful tool, because you can learn a lot quicker off somebody by networking rather than actually on the job. For example, like using certain settings on a camera, you're going to learn more off meeting like an industry professional, because he'll tell you 20 things at once rather than you just learning one step at a time whilst trying to do the job. So that went quite deep, but I think networking can be as deep as that. Like, as much as it's meeting people, it's not just about meeting people, it's about meeting people, then actually connecting with them and networking and working with them. There's a lot of people, like, you know, as I say, like networking is one thing, that actually working with that person's another. So yeah, especially in this industry, it's super important to be able to connect and bring people together.
So networking is something that means a lot to me. It's one of the biggest process of how to meet like other creators. For example, like this event today at Liam set up, you get to meet loads of photographers. Like, I've been in contact with you two before, but I've never actually met you in the flesh. We've never shot together. And it's a good way to get yourself kind of out there. Obviously, linking with new photographers, you get new content, and more people see your work, more people like, know about you. And that's probably the best way to get your work out there.
Absolutely. Like networking, of course, like when we're talking about Instagram, social media, that's a form of networking, but in-person networking is probably like taking it back to basics, like getting to know people, collaborating, working, remembering like why you're doing what you're doing, and kind of like sharing your name. Like, do you know what I mean? Like doing this sort of thing is how you get noticed.
Yeah, definitely.
It's how you get known within like your community. Like this is like a big, everyone's from up north kind of thing, up here. Yeah, we're all like around this same creative community, and by us all coming out today together and meeting each other, we're making that community a lot stronger. And I think that's really important. I think people can forget that there's communities in other areas of the country. It's not just it's not as London centric as people think it is. So networking events like this is important to kind of like solidify that kind of concept.
It's creators up north as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So hopefully you found that insightful, listening to what they had to say. Me, myself, I can't put enough down to networking. Networking is what made me into the type of photographer that I am today. So originally I was just doing weddings, and then through networking and meeting other people, I got into doing sort of little bits of fashion, little bits of portrait, and then just the more people that I met, the more people that I worked with, the more that my name grew and got passed on through word of mouth. That's what led to the position that I'm in today. So it means a lot to me, and it's something that I always look to do, sort of week in, week out. I'm always happy to meet up with people, to speak to people, work with new people, because you never know where it leads to. For example, Callum. I got to know Callum through meeting somebody else and then passing my name to him, and I ended up doing a huge amount with Callum, and he's a really, really good friend of mine now. That's a great relationship that came just through word of mouth. So I think that you can't underplay the value of networking, and a lot of the time networking comes from things that you do that aren't necessarily paid, and where it's feasible and where it's possible and where you're not putting yourself out too much, doing things that aren't paid can have huge benefits in the long run. It's just being able to see this might not pay now, but it might pay off in the future, and that's pretty much all that I've got to say about it, to be honest. Hope that you found this insightful. Hope that you like the images and the video from today. This image that I'm going to put on the screen now is probably my favourite. And let me know in the comments what you think, what networking means to you. If you've got any stories to share, let me know those in the comments. Like this video if you have done, subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.